Karma is a five-letter word, so is irony and a female dog. The sneaker resellers are finally getting their just desserts. Yes, they have finally gotten what they deserve. Now, I'll admit, not all sneaker resellers are bad, and I'm going to get to that, but this practice right here of buying up all the sneakers and expecting to flip them is not only a dumb idea, but it's morally wrong, and they deserve to get what they're getting right now, bro. They're getting a bunch of bricks. Why? Because they made the bricks themselves. Honestly, if you buy up a bunch of sneakers and you're the only person that's buying them, are you really creating an audience for these? No, you're making a false demand for them, bro. And that's basic economics, supply and demand. And what you realized was you took all the supply, limiting the demand in some ways. Yes, they created a broken market and they're getting what they deserve. The 2024 year has not been the year for the reseller. It's been a year for the sneakerhead, the people that actually enjoy sneakers. Because guess what? We have found a way to eliminate these people from the equation, and it's great. This is the type of math I love. The sneakerheads are taking W's and the sneaker resellers are taking all the L's. They're in the negatives, we're in the positives, buddy. So there are multiple ways one can make money in the sneaker market. You either A, buy a bunch of sneakers and flip them, or B, you build up used sneakers, you buy sneakers on the low and resell them one at a time. You might get them a couple of times at a sneaker convention or whatever. But most of these people are looking for quick bucks. And oftentimes, quick money is not legal money and it's not good money, bro. There's no such thing as fast money. That's common sense. Your daddy should have told you that. And most of these guys obviously did not learn this lesson. This thing is so simple, guys. It's common sense, right? They are basically practicing what is known as market manipulation. It's unfair, it's unethical, and it's just a dumb idea. Most sneaker resellers, like the one you saw at the beginning of the video, they just buy up a bunch of sneakers. When I say a bunch of sneakers, they get a full-size run of many sneakers, guys. Have I seen this happen before? Yes. I remember one time I was walking in the mall, and this guy, he was trying to flip some Jordan 1 lows. He was like, hey, bro, go in there, buy a sneaker for me. I'll give you like $10 in cash and you just got to bring me back the sneaker. I'll give you the money to do it. And honestly, at the time I said yes. I didn't think much of it. I thought he was a good guy, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But in hindsight, I mean, he's breaking bread. He's giving me a little bit of money. I agree. But the idea of just buying a bunch of sneakers that are currently sitting and making a prediction that they're going to increase in price is, weird. It's a little unethical. It's a little different. A lot of people go back to this idea of like capitalism. It's always unfair. It's just a game, buddy. Get over it. And yes, there are different types of capitalism. We can all agree with that. Capitalism hasn't been the best for certain people. If you know, you know. The basics of capitalism is advantage, right? People have certain advantages in a market that other people don't have. In the particular case of the sneaker reseller, they have funds. They have the ability to buy multiple sneakers through different people, different robots, etc. Basically, they're able to get something a lot easier and quicker than other people. Is this fair? No. Life isn't fair. I'm very aware of that. Honestly, the guy at the mall, he really wasn't doing anything that bad. He had people who were willing participants. He gave them money and they went in and they bought the sneaker. People like this guy from the original video, I don't know if he did that or not, but he has a bunch of Crocs sitting in a room that he plans on selling to other people. Why is this bad? Why is this karma? Because, dog, you have collected a bunch of sneakers that didn't have any value in them whatsoever, guys. A lot of times these guys go off some type of prediction, this premise. It's like stocks. They think this thing is going to increase in value, and not everybody wins when they do this, guys. The only person that wins is the people who buy these sneakers and get the quick profit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like he's spreading the wealth and creating other businesses. And like, imagine back during the COVID pandemic, people who went in and bought all the toilet paper and just got all of it in an instant. That wasn't fair. That wasn't right. You want to know why? Because toilet paper is a necessity. But what these sneaker resellers don't realize is that sneakers aren't a necessity. And honestly, that the demand for sneakers is a choice. And people choose whether they're going to support this market or not. And a lot of people have woken up, they turn on the light bulb and they realize like, okay, you know what? I am not going to do this anymore because this is just stupid. This is not the smartest thing to do for me to pay triple that, for me to pay triple for a sneaker, dog. Like, it doesn't make any sense. This is a low effort move. It just requires funds and the ability to buy multiple sneakers, and boom, you have what you think is an instant cash machine, but it doesn't work that way. Do these people have a pulse in the culture? Not really. They think they do, but honestly, they're just creating artificial demand for sneakers. Think about this. Nike's looking at this from a top-down lens. They're looking at, we need to sell X amount of sneakers at X price as quickly as possible. When these sneaker resellers go in and they buy all these sneakers up after they didn't sell on the original release, Nike and other sneaker companies go, well, we were able to sell this sneaker in X amount of quality in X amount of time at X price, right? So take Airforces, for example. They're currently $115. Let's say they released, 10,000 pairs. All 10,000 pairs sell for $115. Nike makes their money. They don't really care what happens after that. If they go on the used market, the resale market, it doesn't matter. We're able to sell our sneakers for a certain retail price, all right? So this is what Nike has to do with the feedback. Do we either A, up the stock numbers, B, increase the price, or C, do both? Because you're not going to lower the price if the thing is selling out already, guys. So a lot of times, and you see this with the Jordan 4s that have recently released, they're like, you know what? People still have a demand for these sneakers, right? They don't benefit from resale. The only benefit that the companies get from resale is it justifies a retail price. And they love it. They love seeing resellers go out there and buy up all their sneakers and try to sell them. It makes their sneakers look a little bit more valuable. What they've done now, they look at the Jordan 4s and other models, they're like, you know what? We can actually increase the stock numbers just a little bit more and sell them to all these people and still meet our bottom line quota. And they worked it. They proved it. Because guess what? The Jordan 4 military blue, they sat on the sneakers out for a little bit, but they eventually sold out because people have been able to get them more and more. The average consumer is able to get them for retail. Now the question is, why didn't the resellers go in and buy up all the Jordan 4 military blues? Because there were multiple releases. And guess what? People knew about the multiple releases. There was no need for these resellers to go in and buy up all these sneakers if you had a pulse to the culture. Now, there were some resellers who tried doing this. Now, there's some resellers that try to do this. They got millions of military blue 4s and they got the bread 4s. But once again, knowledge is power. When you have a pulse to the culture, you know, like, hey, I can make wiser financial decisions. The guy who bought all these Crocs, he may have not known that these things weren't in demand. They may have had another restock come in. Whatever reason there is, you have to keep your ear to the streets in order to know what is the best move for you. And the other thing that these guys fail to ask themselves is like, why is it so easy for me to buy up all these sneakers? You realize that the only competition is other resellers, right? That if people actually wanted these sneakers, they would not be sitting and be so accessible to people like you. There used to be a time before like the whole sneaker boom, like in the 2021 post-pandemic era, where you could say like, oh my God, I could buy a sneaker now and it's gonna flip. People are gonna call these bricks. Because nowadays, I don't really care what you say. Most people are sneakerheads, whether they realize it or not. Because nowadays, when you go into a store, you're familiar with most sneaker silhouettes. I guarantee you ask your mom, your girlfriend, somebody who isn't too ingrained into the culture, they know what a Panda Dunk is. They know Nike, they know Yeezy, they know Jordans. Most people have general sneaker knowledge. In addition to this, there's also apps that allow people to gain knowledge about sneakers. StockX, Go, eBay. You have content creators like myself and other fabulous people on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram who spread information about sneakers. So the average person possesses a decent amount of sneaker knowledge to the point where they are familiar with what's hot and what's not. They know what they want, they know how to get it, and they can determine the price of it simply by going on an app. This is not the day of the Yeezy Wave Runner where you could sit on a sneaker, a dad shoe, and nobody wants it for 4 or 5 years, and all of a sudden it becomes the best model. Those days are done and over with. Nowadays, the sneaker peaks in popularity once it releases, and from there, it is what it is, guys. I think we're seeing resurgences in much older models, like with the Timberland movement and the New Balance movement. But other than that, most people aren't going to be like, oh my God, this Jordan 4 sat on the sneakers app, and then 6 months later, everybody wants it. Nah, dog. Like, by the time that people pick up on the fact that it's wanted, it's accessible, like the resale value may go up by a little bit, but it's not going to be like, oh my God, I've been sitting on these for years and years now, and the moment has finally come. Like, no, dude, it's not happening. There's nothing that triggers that at all. And, you know, I go back to the whole thing of necessity. Like, imagine if I bought all the houses in a certain city, like let's take Orlando, Florida, for example. Let's say I buy all the houses in Orlando, Florida. People need a house to live. So no matter what price I set, people are going to have to give in and buy a house from me because I own all the property in this area. There's a necessity. Now, you could argue that, yes, we need to put shoes on our feet in order to walk, so to speak. But for the most part, with the amount of competition in the sneaker game right now, there's so many different brands that you can't just do that, guys. We have realized this. A lot of people have taken the red pill, so to speak. You got reps, you got other sneaker brands. People don't have to continuously support the reseller anymore. It's a choice whether you do it or not, and most people are choosing not to. And I know a lot of people think I have a very confusing stance on all this, and you're trying to figure out, how is this karma? Look, I don't think reselling in itself is a bad thing, guys. It really isn't. Sneaker resale has had a lot of positives for the culture that very few people will admit. I think sneaker resale has allowed people to unify in ways that we didn't before. Sneaker resale has brought sneaker culture to its peak and in prominence and popularity. All right? So don't get it twisted. I don't think sneaker resale is completely evil. I think this particular practice is evil and it's scummy. Look, if you buy used sneakers, restore them, flip them, some other people, cool. I don't have a problem with that. If you're the type of person like the guy in the mall, hey, I'm just going to meet people, I'm going to find them. Hey, you go in there, you buy this sneaker for me, I'll give you a little bit of bread. I get the sneaker, cool. I mean, you got to get it how you can. But if you're the type to go on the website and buy all the sneakers with bots, or if you're the type just to buy up a bunch of sneakers and just hold them and force people to give into the resale value, like, dog, what are you doing, bro? That doesn't make any sense. Like, I get it. You hustle while you can, but some things are like, dang, I'm just going to gatekeep other people from getting the sneaker. I'm just going to stop it. I'm just going to shut it all down at once. Like, what type of practice is this, bro? You have to have some type of pulse to the culture. Sneaker resellers can be very greedy, bro, and this is your just desserts. Look at it like this, bro. A lot of people weren't able to buy sneakers because of the exorbitant resale price. And this is your karma because now you aren't able to sell sneakers because those same people that you robbed have done something different. They decided they're not going to keep supporting you. There are too many alternatives to sneaker resale. You can buy used